So every question that Lane got asked last night about Auburn or staying at Ole Miss, Auburn or staying at Ole Miss, is in this answer right here. It is 2 minutes and about 12 seconds long, but you judge for yourself on whether you think Lane is coming, staying, how he's handling it at all. But here's Lane Kiffin after the loss last night on his contract situation.
Lane, with the regular season over now, do you anticipate being Ole Miss's coach next season?
Yes, I do.
Lane, we asked about it last week, but there's been a lot of talk about your future and whatnot. Do you feel like that was a distraction at all this week with the players?
I think when it was falsely reported by John, who's now famous, congratulations, that you can just write whatever you want. And I would do it too, I think, because you're never held accountable and you get to become famous and maybe you'll be right. So John did it, so then I had to have a team meeting to say his article was wrong, which would love to know these unnamed sources from John. But, so yes, I had to have a team meeting because of that. They don't, when there's other stuff and chat rooms and all that stuff, but when a reporter writes it, it changes the game with it.
Lane, let me follow up and rephrase the initial question. If Auburn offers you its coaching position, do you anticipate being Ole Miss's coach next season?
I do.
And then if I can follow up, what did you tell your players yesterday when you spoke with them?
I mean, I could just easily say that's between team meetings that we don't really talk about that, but I just told them that report that probably you're not paying that much attention to, but probably your family is inaccurate and false reporting. So,
Lane, when do you think the timeline kind of is for you to sign a contract extension with Ole Miss? And obviously, what's the timeline for that?
I don't know. I mean, I've signed 3, so did that make it, does the 4th one mean you're never leaving? So, I don't know. I'm much more focused and worried about the game than whether you sign another contract. And I'm not acting ungrateful for that, but again, everybody thinks you sign a contract. Well, a year ago you said the same thing, and then here we are again. So
I know you said you're keeping those meetings kind of private, but did you kind of relay a message at all, if you could share this, that you told your players that you are signing a new contract here? I
mean, I've already talked about that. I shouldn't even got into what was said in that meeting, so I already said it. So I'm not answering any more questions about that.
So we're all living on Lane's time at this point.
It's so ridiculous.
But as you're watching this, do you get to? You have a lean, you have a gut, how he handled it? What do you think?
I mean, if I'm an Auburn fan, do I really want this guy? I mean, to me, he is a more interesting Jimbo Fisher. He's going to give you 4 losses a year is what he's going to do. He's going to give you 4 losses a year. This guy started out 7-0. I told you guys it was going to collapse in the second half. He went 1-4 down the stretch. In 13 years as a head coach, he's never had back-to-back double-digit wins. You get all the bullshit that comes with him. He threw the guy under the bus again. Complete dick. He's all about himself. I don't know. I just can't believe people want to pay this guy $12 to $15 million a year.
LT Gray says, I don't know Sokoloff's voice. Did he ask any questions? I believe the last 2 Scott had edited were him after Lane had referenced him. I believe he was pressing Lane on whether or not he had signed the contract, and then what he told his team in the meeting if he point blank told them he wasn't leaving. But Lane has tripled down now on that guy.
Yeah.
Saying,
I mean, if he takes the job, especially today, and that guy's report's 100% right,
yeah.
But even if he took it Saturday and Sunday, he does look clownish for calling the guy out and putting him on blast several different occasions.
There's no doubt. And there's always going to be the people that say, hey, look, Lane was unaware of what was going on until after the game when Jimmy Sexton met with him, which no reasonable human being believes any piece of that. So, I don't know what to make of all of that. Look, coaches lie all the time. Nick Saban said he wasn't taking the Alabama job. If I have to say it, I'll say it. And Nick Saban took the Alabama job. I get it. I understand that, you're trying to play both sides of this. So
by the way, that's built into the $10 million you make a year.
That's right. Nothing he said there makes me think any less that he's taking the Auburn job. Nothing I've seen makes me think he has taken the Auburn job. This guy's a complete wild card. You do not know.
You don't know. And the only thing I would say is, as you said, he doubles down on the what's the reporter's name? John
Sokoloff.
Yeah, not. I don't think he made him famous.
Yeah, I don't think he's famous.
But I find it hard to believe that, and this is me being naive, that guy didn't have a really good source to come out with that information.
Guys do that all the time. I don't know, but
I mean, we've heard that Lane Kiffin has had some communication about the Auburn job.
And here's the difficult thing about trying to report on breaking news. And it's one reason we, by and large, steer away from it on this show. Is
I know why I don't do it.
Well, for one reason, like what that John Sokoloff guy reported could be right, and something could change at the 11th hour, and Kiffin decides not to take the job, and then Kiffin is going to play it like, I was never taking the job.
That's right.
Yeah, I was never taking that job. He's wrong. Whereas when Sokoloff reported that Monday night, I believe, Kiffin could have agreed, or I don't know. I mean, the things change. That's why it's so difficult to tread in those waters.
Well, I'll tell you
what is a very reasonable thing that happened is that John Sokoloff, who has spent time covering both Mississippi State and Ole Miss, and probably a lot of baseball, and the guy who is now the athletic director at Auburn is a former baseball coach. So Sokoloff probably spent a lot of time giving his baseball program a lot of coverage, probably had some good ties to the current AD at Auburn, and probably got some really good information on what was going on behind the scenes, and probably should not have gone as far as he did in his reporting in his tweet. But he probably had some good information on what was going on behind the scenes. But as Brown is saying, until Lane signs it and is introduced at Auburn, he can always go back and make that report wrong and play it up like, I've been Ole Miss till I die. I'm sipping till I die.
And here's the problem now. If I'm an Ole Miss fan, even if he stays, I'm a little upset and unsure.
Oh, they're upset
about
with
Lane
him.
Kiffin.
Yeah, Ole Miss fans are upset with him because he has not ended this week, and they're going to say it probably cost him the game last night.
Because Lane Kiffin and the social media, and it's all fun and stuff when you're winning, but when you go 1-4 down the stretch, and it's Egg Bowl week, and by the way, you're +2 in turnovers at home. You're burning timeouts on 2-point conversions.
Yeah.
You
Timeouts
lose that
with an
game.
S, not one, two.
You can't rush for 100 yards against State.
Yeah, you lose that game, and it seems like your focus was 100% elsewhere, against Arkansas, against Mississippi State, and you weren't all in on us when we're paying you a shit ton of money.
Yep.
I just don't get that.
In a game that means everything to us.
It does.
It means everything to us. And in that state, unlike Alabama and Auburn, they still had, of both rosters, they still have over almost 90 players who are Mississippi kids in that game. So they grew up either State fans or Ole Miss fans. So many Alabama and Auburn players now, the recruiting is so national, it's not as many Alabama kids in this game as it used to be. But in that game still, because of where their recruiting is, it is still a majority of Mississippi kids in that game.
Look, I want to say this, for the record. I think Lane Kiffin is one of the best play callers we've ever seen.
Except in the red zone last night.
Yeah, as far as a head coach, though, I've always had my doubts. Yeah. But I hope he does come to Auburn just because he's in state. I think it brings excitement. I just don't know why Auburn fans are head over heels all about this guy, because if Arkansas wins today, would you guys give me this was a down year in the SEC West?
I mean, you say down year because Alabama is not as good as Alabama is, I guess, yeah.
Well, and a 2-loss LSU is going to win the West.
Looks even more down if Arkansas loses to the East today. Yeah.
But I'm saying if Arkansas wins, technically Ole Miss is 5th in the West this year.
Yeah.
And you're talking about paying this guy $10 million a year?
And A&M's last, regardless of what happens today.
We established that a long time ago.